Devizes takes its rather curious name from the Latin word devizes, meaning boundaries, because it was built on the edge of 3 parishes. And there's been a market here since the 12th century, so it's about due a visit from me and Mason. I love these markets.
Morning, gentlemen. Good morning, sir.
Every Thursday, this square is crammed with local food producers and their wares.
Come on, we got the mash to make your mash today.
In my view, a market's the perfect place to start a culinary investigation into the tastes and flavors that make a town tick. Stand by, Devizes. We're going in.
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning, Sir Terry. How are you?
I'm bearing up, thank you.
Very good.
I'm waiting for the sun to shine.
Waiting for the sun to shine.
What have you got here?
You like mango chutney?
Do you know I never eat anything else?
This is different because
Do you
it's
know-
in slices, not
Do you
in
know,
bits.
already I'm really glad that we came and stopped here. Although it's a small town with a population of 12,000, Devizes Market is one of the largest in the West Country, giving the 5 local supermarkets a good run for their money. How long is it since you've seen a goose egg?
I've never seen a goose egg.
They've only just come back in.
Hey. That's the size, isn't it?
It is.
That's a nice size egg.
You want an
That'll make-
ostrich egg is what you want.
Yeah,
You don't do ostrich
We
eggs.
can get them. But
Can ya?
They're £25 each.
You've come right out your shell, haven't you?
These days, Wiltshire is most famous for its pig products, but 100 years ago it was equally renowned for its many different cheeses. One, the Wiltshire loaf, had completely disappeared until 9 years ago, when an enterprising dairymaid stumbled across an old recipe and decided to bring it back from the dead. And what's a Wiltshire loaf taste like? Is it crumbly?
Do you want to try?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
You don't give away a lot, do you? This is delicious. It's very flavoursome, very sharp.
Yes. This is the traditional Wiltshire cheese that my great-grandfather used to make. It stopped being made in Wiltshire. A lot of our regional cheeses did die out. But when I started cheese making, I love looking back to the past, and this is the cheese that my great-grandfather would have made.
Well, where did you get the recipe for it?
On the wall in the Lackham Agricultural College Museum.
And you took it from there?
Yes, yeah.
Such work here, and you've obviously revived the tradition. I don't understand why there isn't a plaque to you somewhere on a wall in Devizes.
Maybe one day.
Back in the far-flung 60s, this market mainly a place for local farmers to buy and sell livestock. After they'd concluded their business, they'd congregate across the road in the Bear Hotel for much-needed refreshment. Our culinary guide, Sam Chamberlain, stayed here too, soaked up the atmosphere, and where the great man leads, we must follow.
Cheers.
After you, sir, senior man. Chamberlain called the Bear a good, honest country hostelry. Can't see any cattle farmers, but a group of locals who meet here every week for breakfast are carrying on the noble tradition. Good morning, good morning. Good morning. The Breakfast Club. So, reading old Chamberlain's book, he says when he came down here, the place was full of farmers and drovers, and they were drinking their pints and smoking their pipes. Now, you're all far too young to remember anything like that, aren't you? You remember it? So tell me about it a little
My
bit.
father was a farmer, as you say, with the, instead of the flat cap, he had the trilby and the pipe.
And he'd be in here
And
drinking the
he'd
pint
be
and
in
the
here,
pipe.
after the market is closed, he would be in here there, and the table would be laid out right across there for everything you could think of in the way of farmers eating. Ham, whatever. And I was a little schoolgirl at the time, and he used to come out to the car and get me in here, and I used to be able to go along that table and choose what I wanted to eat. In them days, children weren't allowed in pubs. And I used to have to go back out to the car, me glass of orange squash and me goodies, and eat.
So it was here at the Bear that old Sam Chamberlain sat down to what he described as his best breakfast of the summer. He speaks lovingly of piping hot eggs, lean bacon, tender toast. I prefer mine crisp.
Service, please.
Quick, Mason, to the dining room. Time to get our knees under the table. Learn a bit more about this great British institution.
Well, the English breakfast, what we're eating, is a centuries-old tradition. part of our culture. Has been for a long, long time, ever since the days of the gentry, landowners. And for them, breakfast was a hugely important social event before a hunt, before the day began. So they used to display their wealth of their estates, the produce that came from their estates, and in the breakfast feast. It was a spread they put on for their guests.
Over the years, the fry-up gradually filtered down from the fine folk to the rest of us. And by 1956, half of all adults started the day with a cooked breakfast. But a mere 20 years after that, the figure had halved as we developed a liking for foreign foods like croissants and muesli. And the old full English was relegated to being a weekend treat.
So, Guy, in '62, when Chamberlain came to the Bear, would it have been the same breakfast? Not literally this one.
I think back in those days, they had more ingredients to it. There would have been some fried bread. There might have been a pork pie down there, too. Possibly some liver.
But they wouldn't have had baked beans.
No, they didn't have baked beans. They would have had a form of beans.
There's nothing wrong with baked beans. There's
Not
more,
Heinz,
there's
for
more
sure.
wrong with that black pudding.
There is nothing wrong with a baked bean, but it shouldn't be on your breakfast plate. So, Mason, another lovely day in paradise.
Absolutely, Terry. Look at it. It's beautiful. Sun's out.
And, of course, bacon. Bacon, pigs. That appears to be the main selling point.
Order of the day, meeting a pig farmer.
To get the full picture of a region's food story, you need to go back to the land. Devizes is surrounded by wide, chalky pastures where pigs have rootled and grazed since the Bronze Age. Mason, the glories of Wiltshire.
Look at this place, Terry. Beautiful.
It's not the scenery, it's the pigs. The pigs are Wiltshire's glory, you know. Wiltshire bacon, Wiltshire ham, far famed, far famed. Oh, look, I think he recognizes you. At this point, dear viewer, those of you of a sensitive disposition should perhaps leave the room. The next phase of our food journey does get a bit close to the bone. Here on Sandwich Farm, the Keane family have been raising pigs for generations. Have you ever seen so much dead meat in all your life?
It's like a spare parts for a pig factory, isn't it? It's just, unfortunately for pigs, but I love my ham, you know?
Well, if you didn't eat it, they wouldn't be grown.
Yeah. Oh, that's a nice way of looking at it, Rog.
None of this pork is going to be sold fresh. Instead, it will undergo a process known as the Wiltshire Cure, which emerged in the 19th century when a butcher discovered that by storing meat in a cold room, he cut down on the salt needed to preserve it, producing a milder, sweeter rasher for your plate. A laudable aim.
This is what we call a brine tank, and this is the heart of what makes proper Wiltshire bacon. So the pig, which at this moment is still considered to be pork, will gradually, over the course of the next 4 or 5 days, take up this brine, which is a living culture. By allowing it to take up the brine naturally, you don't get the excessive amount of water that you sometimes get where in a factory environment, they're what they call multi-needle injection pumped, where they want to cure it much quicker than we do, and therefore need to, in order to get the brine into the centre of the meat, or into that big block, they pump it in with a needle.
Yeah, which is all very well. But why am I wearing this ridiculous outfit?
Well, we do have to comply with all the regulations that are about. I mean...
I wasn't going to dive into the brine. Besides, I haven't brought my budgie smugglers. Once all this pork has taken the cure, it's removed from the tank before moving on to the next process.
We're going into the smoker. I mean, we sell a higher percentage of smoked bacon probably than anybody else. We still use the traditional method, oak and beet sawdust. So it's like a little forest fire, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's clearing my sinuses perfectly.
Absolutely, yeah, no problem. Well, I think we'll let Mason carry something out a minute now, because
Good man, Mason.
Not a lot of people like doing this job, so we'll get.
Oh, he loves it.
While he's here.
He loves it.
Never enter a burning building. So what one's coming out? Anyone?
Well, whichever meat takes your fancy.
I won't bother, lads. I'll just watch you, if I may, and encourage you. Before we leave, we received probably the best invitation I've had all year. Rosemary, Roger's wife, has prepared a small tasting menu of cured pork dishes for our delectation.
So this is Wiltshire good.
Cure and then smoked for 2 days.
Right.
But you've
Over Oakham Beach.
you've got cloves in this.
Yes, cloves.
And what else have you put on
apricots
top of
and
it?
brown sugar.
I can't keep my hands off it. Oh, is that too big for me?
Oh, I'd say. Not for your mouth.
Will I be able to eat that? You know, I love a bit of fat. Do you like fat?
No, I don't. I like the lean bit, but
It's the fat that gives the flavour.
Absolutely, it
And
is. Fats take up flavour. I don't worry about eating fat at all. My father lived till he was 95, and he had cream in his tea every day, and we had river beef every Sunday.
Well, why do they always say, Roger, whatever is really nice is bad for you?
Well, there we are. Jealousy, I suppose.
But I can't get enough of this. This is lovely, Rosemary. Absolutely lovely.
Have a bit more.
What do you think of Devizes?
I like it. I like the market square. It's busy.
Yeah, these Wiltshire towns are lovely, but the only thing I have against them is they're slaves to roundabouts.
Oh, well, don't you worry yourself sitting there relaxed in the back. Leave that to me.
I'm just thinking of you, Mason, always considerate. If I have a fault, I'm too considerate. Like the galloping gourmets that we are, we've rushed back to town on the trail of a great culinary mystery. Devizes cheesecake was made famous in the 18th century when Jane Austen sampled it and gave it her seal of approval. But in 1982, the last remaining baker in Devizes to sell the cheesecake closed down. And the recipe then disappeared. To find out more about this most English of dishes, I've been pointed in a rather surprising direction. Dolce piani.
This will do nicely.
Sounds like good to me. Look, I'll go first and see if they let you in. No, I'm sorry. The hero of our story, Giovanni Campanella, comes from a long line of Sicilian bakers whose skills and recipes he's inherited.
So, Giovanni, when did you come to the UK?
1977, young fella.
77, huh?
1977, yeah.
And what was the food like when you got here?
Well, I didn't like it. But I was wrong. I wasn't looking correctly. As soon as I started making a few friends and being invited in people's homes, then I discovered that this country has as much as a food legacy as anywhere else in Europe, particularly in Italy.
When Giovanni heard about the long-lost Devizes cheesecake, his interest was piqued, and he embarked on a one-man mission to bring this sleeping beauty back to life. So it took somebody who'd come from Italy to come here to Devizes to reinvent a traditional Devizes cheesecake.
This is a voyage of discovery. It's not just a cheesecake. It's really a cheesecake that has been found in people's memory, and we had to extract it. We knew the ingredients, but it was nowhere to be seen. 8 or 9 years ago, we started this process.
As puddings go, this one has had quite a build-up. Time to put old Jane Austen and Giovanni to the test. First step is to make the cheese for the filling. Turns out curd, or ricotta, as it's known in Italy, is very simple to make. Boil a pan of milk and then add the crucial ingredient.
We're going to introduce my cider vinegar in there.
Wow. Well introduced.
I start stirring it. I give it really 3 or 4 stirs, but not more than that. But if you can see, the ricotta is already rising. Can you see the ricotta rising already there? It really is magic.
It's a little miracle.
It is a miracle.
The curd is then drained and removed from its muslin bag.
And out comes the beautiful ricotta.
It's mixed with beaten eggs and spices, cinnamon and nutmeg, as well as sultanas and almonds.
So here I had to use a little bit of fantasy. I mean, how do I get this cake not to go soggy? Basically, we create a double armor around it.
You're letting us into your deep trade secrets.
No, I would
We're
like...
okay, we won't say nothing.
Not unlike cement, is it?
It has to look a little bit like a medieval pie. That's how I saw it. It's carrying a lot of a burden of history.
Yeah, and you don't want to let Devizes down, do you?
Devizes has given me a lot, and I think I really owe it back.
Or indeed Sicily. You don't want to let Sicily down.
No. There you go, my little baby.
An hour and a half later, time to taste the goodies.
I wouldn't think that was a cheesecake.
No.
It doesn't look like a cheesecake, does it? But it's beautiful.
It doesn't taste like a cheesecake.
Yes, it's got its own
called
character.
a cheesecake.
Yeah. It's got its own character.
Well, it's only a cheesecake because there's ricotta.
And that nutmeg really gives gives it a signature,
Gives it a
doesn't
kick.
Yeah.
That's great. Bravo, bravo.
Good. I'm pleased. I'm so glad you like it. Thank you.
Look at them locks, Tel.
Do you know, I've never been through a canal lock in my life.
I see you more speedboat French Riviera, eh? Is that what you...
Do you know, and don't lead me to a sailboat anywhere. I have no wish to be putting up sails and jibbing and all, doing all the rest of the things that you're supposed to do. I like a gin palace.
There's some serious locks there.
Don't talk to me. I don't even want to see them.
Got more locks than a raster.
Oh, what am I doing in this cab? Now, this flight of 16 locks was the last part of the Kennet and Avon Canal to be completed. Stretching for 2 miles, they allow barges to climb 130 feet to the top of Cane Hill. Back in 1963, while Owen Chamberlain was roaming these parts, they were in a sorry state, silted up, completely unnavigable. But now restored, they're once again an engineering marvel to behold. So all things considered, they do deserve a closer look. Is that the sound of an old melodeon I hear? Haven't heard one of those since the last Eurovision Song Contest. And the singing. Follow me.
Well, Sally is a girl that I love dearly. Way, hey, bully in the alley, Sally.
Life on a canal boat seems like a lot of hard work to me. There are some diehards who wouldn't have it any other way.
Wow.
Flippin' heck!
Me hearties.
A Free Stater! What are you doing here?
How are you doing?
Hello.
Me old Northern Ireland friend.
I'm Tom Lewis.
How you doing, Tom?
This is my
Nice
wife.
to see you.
to meet you.
And this is your boat.
It is. It is. It's our boat and our home for a while. Step on over here.
I'll only step on if I can step off again.
Well, I don't know about that.
Yeah, okay.
We'll take you somewhere else to step you on.
I'll take your word for it. Are you going to go up all these 16 locks?
We are.
Who's the one going to... You're the one going to do the
We
work.
share. We share. And when the one who's not on the tiller has a windlass handle to open the valves that are called paddles, so I'm afraid there's a lot to learn here, Terry. It's, in a very short time.
Yeah, but there's something I'm not going to bother learning, okay? It takes experienced canal boaters 4 hours to pass through all these locks. Luckily, I brought someone along to do the heavy lifting.
Ahoy, skipper!
Ahoy, Mason! Go and do something useful. Help Lynn with the locks, man. Har, ha, 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 har. Take her into the wind, Mr. Christian.
Okay, great.
All right.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to leave you there. I'm going to walk up to the top to open the paddles.
See, he's got the life of luxury as usual. I'll do all the work, Tel. Enjoy it.
And now I find a sailor ain't a sailor anymore. Don't haul on the rope. Don't close.
Gates are opening. King of Ireland's coming through.
Mind those ducks. Ha! It's a sailor's life for me. But before I take the king's shilling, I'm reminded of our real purpose in this journey. Food. I'm happy to say the estimable Lynn has knocked up a delicious bread and butter pudding in her tiny galley kitchen.
Lynn, this is absolutely beautiful.
And I'd like to be associated with the remarks of the last speaker.
Thank you very much, both of you.
So, Mason and myself are traveling gently around the country, and we're sampling all sorts of things on the way. You must have the same kind of variety of food as you travel up the canals.
Well, yes, and of course, over the 30 years that we've been going on canals, we have seen the standard of cuisine in canal-side pubs soar out of sight. It's not egg and chips anymore. It's there are different varieties of food as you go from locale to locale.
What about some ravioli?
Ravioli, ravioli. Oh dear.
Sorry.
Oh, a punster in our midst. Oh, that was pretty bad.
Somebody, some thinking person, has written a special limerick for us. 2 men went off to Devizes, that'll be us. The streets were full of surprises. They learnt how to bake, got a mouthful of cake, and rode a canal boat that rises.
Way, I like that one.
Yeah. No gastronomic tour of Devizes would be complete without trying to track down another famous pie that bears its name. Having cracked the mystery of the missing cheesecake, we now turn our attention to something much meatier, the long-lost Devizes pie.
Sel, this is the Black Swan. You're in for a treat here. A lot of locals neck a few in here. Get it? Neck it? Yeah? Come on in.
Can I trust him? Devizes pie was first mentioned in the 15th century, and its meat-heavy ingredients were listed in a recipe book of 1820 called The Practice of Cookery. Since then, it's fallen out of favour, but today we're going to have a go at raising this ancient dish from the dead. OK, Florence, it's all yours.
Here begins our mission. So,
Devizes pie.
yeah, begin by lining it all in the streaky bacon.
Streaky bacon.
And then, well, you can choose which thing you want to start layering it up with. What do you reckon?
I like a bit of tongue.
Bit of tongue first, yep.
Yeah.
So,
Do you like
do you want to
tongue?
do it?
I've never tried tongue.
What? Try a bit of tongue. Oh. It's lovely.
No, I've never eaten tongue.
It's delicious.
This has been pickled in brine for over a week and then boiled up for 3 hours and spice. Be pretty liberal with the spices. So we've got white pepper.
Fling it on.
Allspice. OK, let's just start doing this. Bit of allspice.
That's aftershave, isn't it?
Bit of cayenne pepper.
Who told you how to make this?
I simply read.
An old
On the
recipe?
internet. On the internet.
You're making it up as you're going along, aren't you?
Yeah.
You didn't get this recipe
No, it's
anywhere.
all genuinely. I've tried to follow it as closely as I
Have
could.
you just walked
actually,
in off
apart
the
from
street?
A side benefit for eaters of Devizes pie is that it'll do your digestion the power of good. Offal is rich in chemicals called nucleotides, which are said to ease conditions like irritable bowel syndrome. Trust me, I'm a medical man.
In goes the pig's head. Bits of chap, bits of round the back of the neck. Pretty good respectful, you know, it shows real respect for the animal, doesn't it, to use all of the, every single bit.
We're not ignoring any small part of the animal.
Right,
So what are you pouring in now?
This is some jelly from boiling up the pig's trotters and the pig's head, and a bit of sherry, just to give it a little
Any
edge.
vegetarians would be doing backflips now, wouldn't they, Tell?
But it's more of a terrine dish, really.
It's layers like a terrine, yeah.
Yeah, Terry's terrine.
It's got a ring to it.
Should we put that here?
Suddenly
the
I'm
name
very
it?
proud. My masterpiece needs an hour in the oven, which leaves plenty of time to absorb a bit more local colour.
The fly be on the turnip. I be wine, you be die. The fly be on the turnip.
Bravo! Well done, sir. A bit handy with them, ain't you, mate?
Oh, yeah.
And what are they?
These are known as clackers. They're actually ox ribs.
Yeah.
You boil up the ox ribs, put them in centre bleach, and they're very brittle, and they clack.
And is this a traditional devised
Oh,
instrument?
very much so. All the old codgers in the old pubs have all got the clackers, you see.
Oh, they've all got their clackers.
Yeah, clacking away.
Oh, right.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, very, very local.
And that little song you were singing?
It's the Wiltshire Regiment song, the marching song of the old Wiltshire Regiment. Now they're now amalgamated, but the marching song, as they go into battle, they'd be singing the "Fly be on the turnip."
Let's have a look at that.
They're there. Now you keep one rigid. And
One
you literally
rigid.
clack them together.
Yeah, I just ain't getting it, John.
No.
Can I use the knee?
Not really, but I'll let
Go
you
on.
off. I'll let you off.
Seeing I'm a
It
layman.
sounds right. It sounds right.
The moment of truth is here. Luckily, I'm big enough to stand back and let Florence take the applause.
Come on.
It's a triumph. This stands up on its own.
Tasty.
Oh, my goodness.
Delicious. Is this a pie of Devizes should be proud of, Tel?
Don't talk to me while I'm eating. By the way, everyone's cleaning up their plates. It looks like Devizes pie could be heading back from obscurity and straight onto the specials board. There'll be queues back to Swindon. You mark my words. Well, we've had enough food today.
Oh, yeah.
Do us for a week.
Sink the battleship. That was beautiful, that pie, though.
Started with a wonderful breakfast, finished with a magnificent pie.
Don't forget the cheesecake.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Come on.
Let's get out of here.
Let's walk it off.